morning. Hi, Ria from Maisie Moo. Now you may have seen the tooth pillow posted on my Facebook group yesterday. I put this together yesterday and I thought I was videoing, but I hadn't pressed play. So we're going to put another one together just to show you how to stitch it and all the little extras that come with it. So to start with, you have got a couple of options. Now this is the easy stitch range, so it's got all the pre-cut holes in it. It will come without the holes as well for those of you that like to sew by machine or want to still glue, but for the purposes today I'm going to show you how to stitch it all together. So the idea is it's just a slightly plump little pillow that you pop beside your bed at night. Put your tooth in the back there. I'd wrap it in a bit of tissue or something like that, and then in the morning there will be a little surprise in there from the Tooth Fairy. I'm also going to include a print and cut Tooth Fairy certificate, so that's just a little bit of extra, and even like I think a little poem for the Tooth Fairy too. So there's a few bits and pieces that come with this. So let's get started. First thing you want to do is sew on your eyes. Now I have used a lovely faux leather that I got from Polka Dot Peach, and it's got like a fabric backing, and this cut so well. The holes have cut out really quite easily, and I have actually reduced this down because I didn't have very much left. So I've reduced it down a little bit, and they still cut out nice and cleanly. But first of all, I'll thread my needle with, I think I'll do some black for the eyes. Now I'm using embroidery floss or embroidery thread. It comes like this, usually from DMC. I tend to buy the DMC because the cheap stuff doesn't pull through as easily. You can use twine or cord. This is good. The cord's good because it won't separate, but I've got this in the black. Okay, so to start we're going to sew the eyes. So you're going to start from the back like that. I've got a knot in my floss, and oh, my light's gonna fall. Something that you can do so that it doesn't pull through if you're just a bit unsure with your knot or how big your hole is pop a little bit of glue. No one's going to see the back of this because it's inside, and that will hold it firm. So all you're wanting to do is put the needle into the next hole, and what this is it's like a back stitch. So you're going to come back up from behind. There we go. I might need to have a look to the next hole there, and then you're going to go back through this hole here. Try and get a close-up of this. Okay, keep doing that all the way along. Have to have a look. I'll speed this up, I think. Excuse my fingernails. As you know, if you watch any of my videos, I'm always apologising for them. I'm a gardener, and I'm a terrible gardener who doesn't use gloves. So I just like to get my hands into things. There we are. Okay, so when you get to the end like that, you're going to have a curve. And what I've done is I've put two little extra holes here, and what they do is give your eye just a couple of lashes, and I think it sort of gives it a little bit of a happy expression as well, and this works for both boys or girls as well. So there we are. Okay, so you can see we've got a perfect eye. Now I'll go ahead and do the next one. Okay, so you've got your eyes there. Now you can see it's a bit of a mess at the back, and like I said, it doesn't matter. So what you want to do when you come to the end is you want to just do a couple of knots. So I just make a loop, bring my needle back through, and do that one more time. Try not to pull too hard because you don't want to pull your stitches too tight on the front. There we go. And then I'll just trim that off. And you've got your wee eyes. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our eyes sewn on now, which means we can go on to the pouch on the back. Now, this one that I did yesterday has the pouch with a little snip closure, so it's made up of two parts. I'm going to just do the plain open pouch today, but the whole idea is the same of sewing it on. All you would be doing is passing your needle through the two layers as opposed to the one, which is what I'm doing here. Now I've decided to go with the blue. I thought I'd do a boy's one today. I did have this pretty fabric here, but it was quite fluffy backed, so not as easy to sew. So what I've done is, here we go, cut it out in this lovely kind of blue wavy fabric, and I might tie it in to a wee bow at the front. But anyway, let's get on to sewing. So let's pop this here. So what you want to do is come through the back. You want a knot, and I'm going to do what we did earlier, which was just put a wee dot of glue there so that it doesn't pull through. Okay, then you want to take up your pocket and then come up. It's going to come up through. There we go. That's it. And coming back down all the way around. So this is going to just be a normal straight stitch, not a back stitch like the eye. You could choose to if you wanted to, and then you'd have a solid line. I quite like the contrast. So I'm just going to quickly come all the way around. Okay, so we're coming to the end now. We've got our last stitch, so we'll just go through the hole and flip it over. So what we want to do to tie it off is knot it. So what I'd like to do is come through underneath, go through like there until we have a bit of a loop, and then go through the loop and pull that. I'm going to do it one more time to create a knot. There we go, and just trim that off. And I'm going to do what we did on the other side, a little touch of glue, only because it just will hold it that extra longer. Extra longer, that's not good grammar. A little bit longer and for more time, and then it won't be pulling through, especially when you're putting your tooth in, which I would suggest wrapping in maybe some tissue, and then if you do have some coins and things going in there, or notes, which is why the open pocket's quite good too, because if you're someone who likes to give your children notes, then it can just sit in the back as well. Okay, so there we have the two options, and as I say, the only difference with this is you'd add your snaps and you'd sew on exactly the same, and you've just got the closure. Okay, so now to put the whole tooth together. So now with this tooth, I'm going to be adding a crown, and what I've done is I've cut the crown out and I've mirrored it. So there's two sides, and you'll see they've got holes there too, so it's actually going to just be sewn directly through the top there. Now I also have wings that are the same premise. You've got the holes and they'll just sit in the side, but we'll just do the crown today, and maybe a little bow tie for him. So I will start my tooth from probably, what's that? That's about a third, well, 3/4 of the way up or a quarter down, because what I'm going to do is put a little bit of stuffing in. So we need to be able to get the stuffing into the legs. So if we sew up and around like this, we can have a gap that we can stuff it. So I'm going to do what we've done before, come through the back, secure with the glue. I've got my dot there, and I'll start sewing around. Okay, see what's happened here? I've got a wee knot, probably sewing too fast. If that happens, insert your needle into that little loop that's there. There you go, that'll pull it free. Right, I'll keep coming around. Now, something that you may wish to add, if you're wanting to hang your tooth, say from the door handle or something like that, you may want to add some ribbon or cord. So what you can do is, well, I won't do that with this one, but just, you could get a loop of ribbon like this. So you could glue that onto the back, nice and even, and then as you're sewing around, it's also going to be glued too, but as you're sewing around, that's also going to capture that, and you can then use that to hang from, as I say, the door or a bedpost, but this wee tooth is going to have a crown. So, okay, so I've got the two pieces of crown here. I've added a touch of glue just so that they're lined up, and you obviously, so the holes are aligned as well. There is a middle, let's have a look at this. Okay, so just to figure out where the hole is, I've put the needle through. Okay, there we are, which means in all of these holes will align. Just got to make sure. Here we go. Okay, so I've got to go through and then come back up through the crown. The beauty of hand stitching as well is if you make a mistake, so I'm going to go through here. If you make a mistake, you can just take it off your needle and start again. So if you wanted to, you could mark the hole on the inside, but we know, because we've just lined it up, that this is the right one to start with. That's going to be just sandwiched in there. Okay, there we go. So you can see it's aligned, and we're just going to continue sewing around. Okay, so we've come back now right around. You can see we've sewn all around the edge, and I've left a gap. So as you can see with the wee pink one, it's a little bit plump. You do not have to stuff your tooth if you don't want to, but it does give it a bit of structure. Otherwise it's a wee bit floppy. It's perfectly up to you. What I use is, it's like stuffing for toys. It's called polyfill. And all I'm going to do is just get a small amount, and I'm coming around and I'm pushing it down into the leg of my tooth. There we go. So I want them to be about stuffed the same. Now if you want to, you can use, if you're like me, you've got a million different pokey things from your Cricut. There you go. So that's, I think that's like a twill. There we go. Push that down. Chopstick works. So slowly just keep inserting. Less is sort of more to start with. You may want it really plump. because it's not like a soft toy that kids will play with. This comes out obviously only when you've lost a tooth, so it's something we have them for the girls' teeth, and they just live in a special box in the cupboard, and they only come out when the tooth fairy is needed. There we go. I'm going to go up and behind that. Okay, so teeth have skinny legs anyway, don't they? So, right, so you can see it's plump. I can come back, I'll just hold this closed. I can come back and put a little bit more in if I want to towards the end. Right, let's keep going. Judge perfectly the amount of thread I needed. That's it. Maybe just a little bit more. You can always squeeze it around. There we go. I think that'll do. Oops. Now, that happens occasionally where you haven't had a hole pop through. Typical, it's one of the last ones. I use the back of my needle just to push through to find the hole. Okay, so we've got one more stitch here. We're going to find the back again. Okay, right. Okay, so you can see all this front is stitched, but we've got one more stitch at the back here to do. So we're going to come back through and we're going to go just over the top of that stitch. So it will be a double stitch, but you won't notice that. I'm going to come out the back again. Okay, so now this is how you want to tie off your string. So you take your needle, and I'm going to go through your hole here, and then I'm just going to come out. So I'm going through the hole, then I'm going to come out through the two layers, so that I'm just coming out through the top. I'm then going to take it back through again, move along a wee bit, and then go back through, coming out through the two layers. That's it. Whoops, watching my crown. Okay, so that feels quite secure. Do that a couple of times, and then you simply just cut that off, give it a little shuggle, and there you have it. Okay, so we've got our crown, we've got our pocket. I might make a little bow tie. So what I've given you here is, it's just a simple shape. You want to fold it in half forward this way, then back one, so that you've got a little pinch. So there we have the, and I'll probably see these two layers here. I'll get some super glue later and just sandwich those, because it's quite a thin glitter canvas. But yeah, so we've got pink and blue. I mean, you can do whatever colour you like. You've got your crown. There's also going to be the wings as an option. You've got your two pockets at the back, so you've got your open and you've got your snap. They're going to come with and without the sewing holes, so they'll be completely blank for you to do what you like with them. I hope that makes it a little bit clearer. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy!